Daniel lived in a small coastal village with his wife, Clara. Their home was made of fragile walls and a thatched roof that swayed with the ocean winds. They owned very little, and happiness seemed like a distant dream. Clara was a harsh woman. She didn't love Daniel and constantly taunted him. The house often had no food, which only worsened her anger. Every morning, Daniel picked up his old fishing net and walked toward the sea. He battled the waves for hours, casting his net again and again, but it always came up empty. Other fishermen returned with their nets full of fish, their homes filled with laughter and the smell of cooked meals. But Daniel, cursed by bad luck, came home exhausted and empty-handed, only to face Clara's bitterness. "You're useless, Daniel. The others bring fish home and you bring nothing? Worthless," she shouted. Daniel remained silent, though inside, his heart ached. Many times Daniel humbled himself and approached the neighboring fishermen for help. "Please, give me a little fish. There's nothing to eat at home," he pleaded. But they always refused. "Do your own work, Daniel," they snapped, sending him away empty-handed. Clara's fury only grew. "I ruined my life by marrying you," she screamed. Daniel quietly listened, his soul heavy with sorrow. One night, Daniel returned home utterly exhausted and defeated. His body ached with hunger and fatigue. He saw Clara asleep on a mat in the corner, her face filled with weariness and sadness. Daniel worried. Had she eaten anything at all? He hadn't eaten since morning, but his concern was for Clara. He noticed a few scattered grains of rice on the floor. Lifting the lid of an old pot nearby, he found a small portion of cooked food. Perhaps Clara had managed to find a little grain and cooked something during the day. Daniel wasn't hurt that she hadn't shared it with him. Instead, a strange warmth filled his heart. "At least she's eaten," he thought. He covered the pot gently and went to sleep on an empty stomach, comforted that Clara wasn't hungry that night. The next morning, Clara gave Daniel a warning. "If you don't catch any fish today, I'm leaving for my parents' house." That day, Daniel rowed far out into the sea and worked harder than ever before. Yet no fish entered his net. As night fell, he returned empty-handed again. Clara, furious, finally snapped. She packed her belongings and yelled, "I'm going back to my parents. I can't live with someone as worthless as you." Daniel begged her to stay, but she didn't listen and walked away. Daniel was left alone. His home fell silent. Still, he did not give up. Every day he went back to the sea, cast his net, and returned with nothing. But each morning, he tried again, hoping that someday his net would be full. One morning, the sea was calm, and the sunlight shimmered on the water. Daniel walked to the shore with his net once more. As he cast it into the waves, he whispered a prayer, "Dear sea, please help me just once." Hours passed. Finally, when he pulled his net, it felt heavy. Daniel's heart raced. As he drew the net in, he saw 4 fish trapped inside, 1 large fish and 3 small ones. Daniel leapt with joy. "Today, there will be food at home," he thought. But then he noticed the fish were crying. The big fish spoke in a trembling voice. "Fisherman, please let us go. These are my babies. Don't separate me from them. Please set us free." Daniel's heart melted. He thought of his poverty, Clara's cruelty, and that night he had slept hungry, relieved only that Clara had eaten. But as he looked at the fish huddled together, sobbing, he made his decision. "All right," he said softly. "Go. Be free." He loosened the net, and the fish swam back into the sea. That night, Daniel returned home with nothing. He went to sleep hungry again, but his heart felt at peace. The next morning, as he sat by the shore, the same large fish returned. She sparkled like a magical creature. "Fisherman," she said, "you saved my children. Your heart is pure. I will reward you. Come to me every night, and I shall give you the treasures of the sea." Daniel could hardly believe it. That night, he returned to the shore. The fish was waiting. She held a glowing piece of gold in her mouth. "Take this," she said. "Come again tomorrow." Daniel sold the gold in the market and earned a great sum. He bought food, clothes, and other essentials. For the first time in many days, a fire lit in his kitchen. Night after night, Daniel met the fish, and she gave him gold. Slowly, his home filled with wealth. He built a new house, bought a new boat, and wore good clothes. The villagers were stunned. The man who once begged for fish was now the richest among them. Many grew jealous, but Daniel remained humble. He shared food with the poor, helped everyone, and thanked the magical fish each night. When Clara heard about Daniel's fortune, she returned from her parents' house. "Forgive me, Daniel," she said. "I was wrong." Daniel forgave her, but his heart was no longer the same. He knew Clara had come back only for his riches. Still, he let her stay. His mind was now bound to the sea and the fish. Years passed. Daniel became the most respected man in the village. He built a school, gave boats to fishermen, and opened a fish market. Every night, he visited the sea and spoke to the fish, who had become his truest companion. One evening, the fish said, "Daniel, my time has come. I must return to the depths of the ocean. You gave me love and compassion. Be happy." Daniel wept. He promised never to forget her. That night, even the waves seemed sad. Daniel remembered the fish for the rest of his life. He never became proud of his wealth and continued to help others. True kindness and selfless actions always bear fruit. Those who sacrifice their comfort for the good of others find lasting peace and respect in life.